So a couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity of spending time in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I had gotten together with some friends of mine from across the country, and we just had a few days together just to kind of unwind and to network and just kind of recharge a little bit. And so one evening we're sitting there, it's kind of breezy, a little bit of misty, temperatures are dropping into the low 50s, and we're sitting around a fire just having a wonderful discussion. Off in the distance you could hear a couple of blocks away that there was a techno party, and you could hear the laughter and the dancing and people having a good time. So we're just sitting around, we're enjoying our time with each other, and this young couple comes walking down the sidewalk, and they introduced themselves, and this was Charlie, and this was his girlfriend Elizabeth III. Well, anyway, they decided that they wanted to join us for whatever reason, and I guess not being very bashful, they kind of sat in on what we were talking about, and we got to know them, and they got to know us a little bit. And then Charlie decided that he was going to take an opportunity that potentially he didn't always have, and he was going to ask one of the most burning questions in his mind. He looked at us very seriously, and he said, "Gentlemen, I want you to tell me, each one of you, what regrets do you have in life?" Well, interestingly enough, this totally embarrassed his girlfriend, Elizabeth III, and she was way uncomfortable. She kept trying to touch his arm, telling him, no, that's not an appropriate question, but he was determined that he wanted to know our regrets. I was thinking about his question, and it turned out that by the time it was my turn, the lawn sprinklers in this resort turned on, and we all just scattered. So I never got to really answer his question. But the next morning, I was thinking about this question, and I thought, even though I know that question was really important to Charlie, maybe he would have gotten greater value from changing his question to, "Gentlemen, what's the most important thing that you've learned?" You see, the way I was going to answer his question was the fact that, quite honestly, I don't have regrets. Is there things that I've done wrong? Absolutely. Is there things that I've said wrong? You bet. Is there moments that I've behaved in a particularly wrong or incorrect way and I regretted doing what I did in the moment that I did it? Absolutely. Have I hurt people? Yes. But you know what? Here's the difference. I believe that a regret is something that you do that you know is wrong, but something that you've never learned from. And if those mistakes that you've made you learn from, if they become your teacher, if you're able to glean wisdom from them, well, guess what? Then you should not regret them. They should not be regrets, because they're more your friend than they are your foe. I want you to think of this in a very financial way. There's those that have been on their road to retirement success. They've been saving, they've been planning, they've been doing the best job that they can. And all of a sudden something happens. Some huge, massive loss on the stock market, or they've been swindled by some investment. There was something that they didn't quite ask the right question on, and now the investment that they thought was so good for them, or the investment that they thought had so much potential, turns out to be anything but that. And so they dwell on those regrets, and they regret making that decision, and they say to themselves, "I'm never going to trust this again. I'm never going to do this again." Well, let me suggest to you that if you would only consider those things to be lessons learned and never to be repeated, potentially you could glean great wisdom from it and propel you to greater success in retirement. So here's my motto: 0 regrets. Take the things that you've experienced trying to save for retirement, and only use them as wisdom and guidance as to what not to do in the future. Better questions to ask. Finding a more knowledgeable financial advisor, or educating yourself more completely about a particular topic before you choose to pursue it. I'm Matthew Johnson, president and owner of Johnson Wealth and Income Management, and if you've gotten some little bit of wisdom out of this, if this has encouraged you to now maybe take up that sword and keep battling on, if it's given you a little bit of encouragement that there is someone in the financial services industry that does love you and care for you and wants to see you succeed, then I'd like to encourage you to subscribe. I don't know where the button is, up, down, sideways, somewhere, but click that subscribe button. Feel free to share this with your friends if it's been an encouragement to you. Maybe it'll be an encouragement to them. Maybe this is the message that they too need to hear, because we all are in this together, aren't we? So, remember, it's up to you. You make it a great day.